All right, I'm going to call to order the Conservation Commission meeting for the city of Torrington for Tuesday, November 22nd, 2022. It's 7 o'clock. Do we have anyone remote in attendance?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so present is Dan McGinnis, Stephen Ivane, staff member Nate Nardi Cyrus, and myself, Christine Altman. We have to accept the minutes for the October 13th, 2022 regular meeting. Yeah, you were not there. Do you want to?
Well, I shouldn't vote.
I guess I have to. Oh, no, you were present, Steve.
Yeah.
Did you move? I'll second you. Can I second them?
Sure.
All right.
I move to accept the meeting minutes.
Okay. And I'll second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Okay, motion carries. And then our new business is to review and comment on the Clug Hill site plan.
That's it, huh?
Yep. So this is the site plan for the Clug Hill Road campground. It's proposed. Right now, Christine was there yesterday when they came for inland wetlands. So they accepted that application and we'll be making a decision at the next meeting. Sitting in front of planning and zoning right now. So it's been circulated to all of the internal staff. And so I wanted to make sure that conservation got a look at it and could make some comments on it. It's a really awesome spot if you've ever been there before.
I just drove by it today.
Yeah.
Is,
It's-
are they gonna come, would they have, are they coming for a special exception or just site plan?
Yes, they're coming for a special exception for the change in use to a campground
Okay, and what?
and a site plan.
What conditions have been imposed on it?
They haven't received it yet. So the application just came in for them.
Okay,
So they,
nobody said.
I haven't even seen any comments from staff internally yet. So
Okay.
they'll have to set the public hearing. They haven't even, I don't know if they set the public hearing or not.
Are there any special conditions that you have to do with
For
That's-
campground
for
use?
campground?
Not that I'm
It's
aware
just a
of.
special exception.
Yeah, it's just a special exception and they'll present it.
Is it really because our planning and zoning rules just don't have this kind of facility?
No, it's so this is an R60. And it is an allowed use in R60, just it requires the special exception.
Oh, okay.
So it needs a public hearing as a
That's-
part of that.
They usually do special exceptions, for things like churches and schools.
They just want to get their eyes
know,
on it
yeah.
and get a public hearing so that,
Yeah.
we can bring information. But it's not used, they have to provide a reason why they would deny the special exception. It's not, it's not like that
It's
they would
not
do
in keeping
that.
character with the neighborhood. It's-
They're not allowed to say that anymore. That's against the rules now. You have to actually have specific, guidelines. But yes,
Excessive
many a
traffic.
project has been squashed.
Excessive traffic,
Right, there's plenty of other things to go after. So,
sightlines.
so this is a property that was actually purchased from our former mayor, Zordan. What was his name? Before the last mayor.
Jerry Zordan.
Yep, Jerry Zordan.
For the
Yeah.
last mayor.
He
For this
took over
mayor.
when Bingham.
Oh, really?
Right,
Okay.
for
last few
like
months.
6 months or
Yeah,
something
yeah,
like that.
it
It
was
was
that
a
long.
very
Oh, I did
brief
that,
period of
yeah.
time. Yeah. So he sold it to these folks. This property itself, I don't remember from the presentation, it was something just shy of 300 acres
Okay.
for two parcels that were combined. And I pulled up this map just because it's helpful. Let me share screen and throw it up there.
So
These parcels, these two parcels were combined. And so that's
Say that
what
again?
this parcel and this parcel
Oh,
are joined in this property.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
But this owner also owns this property, this property,
Wow.
this property. So in total, it's something like over 500 acres.
Wow.
okay, but
Um,
which
So are they,
parcel?
what are they What else are they planning?
We don't know.
Okay,
They just own it.
Which parcel is, I mean, which is the parcel that's up now?
That's
the
these,
up one.
see, I'll zoom in.
I mean, I'd rather,
These two.
Yeah,
so I mean, on this
little-
map,
Yeah, you can't, it doesn't zoom out to the full parcel extent on the map.
it's that, okay.
But it
It's-
kind of goes up into here and then down to the
Okay,
south there too.
right.
So
You can actually kind of see where it's gonna be, because it's like that area that
in
is kind of,
here.
that's the shape, yeah,
Yeah,
right there.
right
What
here.
So
is
it's like
to the
this.
left there? Is that a neighborhood?
Yeah, this is Weed Road.
Okay.
So that's
yeah,
Weed Road, that's Clug Hill, and it has frontage on Weed Hill, Clug Hill, and, or Weed Road, Clug Hill, and Goshen Road.
And they're only coming out to
Clug Hill.
Cog Hill.
There's kind of a, this
Here's this
driveway
driveway,
kind of
Plug
curves
Hill,
up.
and then,
Okay,
Goshen
this driveway
Road.
comes down, and goes, okay, there's
Yeah,
Cog Hill
and this
Road.
is Route,
That-
Route 4.
yeah, I'll
Okay.
say Goshen. Road,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So my neighborhood I live in is in this area off the map. So I could,
Oh, are you in West Side
yeah,
or?
West Side Lane.
Yeah,
Okay.
yep, that's right back there.
So, I mean, he's calling, I mean, my question is,
What's phase
what's
two?
phase two?
This,
I mean, he calls it phase
Oh,
two.
actually,
This
hold
is
on,
an
this
in-hole
is
day.
phase two.
right, this is an
So
whole
this
thing.
is phase one,
Right,
Yeah.
this is phase two.
and this. There's a
And,
little arrow there. But it's these two are phase 2. This is phase 1. But the
Okay.
application is for all of it.
Mhm.
So it's phased, but it's not, it's all
Oh,
coming
it's
before
okay.
them.
okay.
Yeah.
And do you have, how far are we from Reed Road?
From Weed Road,
Do you have the scale?
I don't have a scale with me. I could measure it from using this.
Inches 150 feet,
And
and
what's
inches
the,
150 feet.
what's the footprint of the, where the vehicles and building?
That looks like 7,
Uh,
6 or 7 inches.
I know, I wish I had a scale. Let's see. So what are we talking, where are you looking? You want to see Weed
Yeah,
Road
when
to
I-
the
yeah.
extent of this?
And because right now it's,
Looks like it's about quarter of a mile.
So this dotted line is the property?
No,
Or does it
this, so
come out
there's,
here?
this is kind of the context map, and
Right,
there's inset maps. All the maps are broken into these
Oh,
two
okay.
Right.
insets. This is just giving you some context for the wetland mapping. You can see that kind of with the upland review
Okay,
area.
So they own all the way to the Weed Road.
Right, exactly. But there's nothing's gonna happen outside of this footprint.
Okay.
They're not even doing a lot of additional tree clearing. I'll show you. They took out a grading permit
Yeah,
to do
that's-
some tree clearing.
that tells you more.
So you can see exactly where they're gonna be. And they already got this grading permit approved, so they're off to the races already with this. It was administrative, they didn't need permission. So you can see the edge of tree, kind of a old field here. Butch Plug was grazing cattle in here. And then they're gonna be cutting a little down here and all up in here. So there's actually gonna be some pretty tremendous views since they're clearing here
Mhm.
from this location, looking down.
And these are the
Beautiful.
houses.
yes,
Yeah.
barns.
So that's the giant, the house there. It's gonna be a lodge. This is gonna be a cafe, office and arcade and rec room, big rec building. Rather. And then, yeah, so this, but you can see the extent of clearing. There's kind of the majority of the first phase will be kind of right here where there's already a lot of clearing done.
Mhm, yeah.
And then the second phase is there's this kind of 3 stone walls. It's pretty much all within this, but you can see it's kind of all perched on this ridge.
Mhm.
And it drops down in every direction into
So you wanna have
wetlands.
this,
Yeah.
So it's, there wasn't a lot of wetlands impact.
No.
You can see the regulated area. They pretty much stayed out of it. And you can see in the plans.
So clearing a tree is not good to use, really? Is it-
Well, you gotta clear the trees.
And
to-
for,
Put the stuff
yeah,
on.
right now, this is all wooded.
Oh, wood.
Wow.
So this is clearing, this is partially wooded, but partially open, and so that, but the majority of the clearing is gonna be the second phase. 1 to 50.
There's-
Coming in off right
What do
here.
they use for parking lot?
There's gonna be, well, obviously they're parking on the site for the
Yeah, but don't
campground.
they would usually have something. up
This
there.
is existing conditions.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that this is as it is, which doesn't have any parking area. And it's really not too interesting because it's all wooded and just
Yeah.
gives you the current tree line.
This is
Future pool recreation area. Okay, they're putting in stuff in there.
Yep, and this is gonna be a KOA, like a, you know, TM KOA, like a, syndicate of them.
Yeah.
So it's gonna have all the branding and all that.
That's a pretty nice trail. I've been trailways. They're usually like that. They're usually like.
I guess they're kind of,
Pretty awful.
I guess I've heard from the owner. So the owner of this, who's developing this, is the owner of Cozy Hills, if any of you know, in Litchfield off of Route
Yeah, I don't know what
6.
it's like.
Yeah, it's pretty nice. It's a pretty nice campground. It's got a lot of topography, but she said that the KOA offices are freaking out because they do the design and they're like, it's usually Kansas,
Yes,
Nebraska,
exactly.
where it's
Yeah,
just an open
exactly.
field. And so
And
they're
it's
like,
like-
there's
it's like,
topography here.
yeah,
This is
you
crazy.
think, God forbid you have to camp in the summer or
Right.
something. You just, there's no shade, there's not a tree in sight, it's gravel and.
And no tent sites here, all trailers. They have, you can kind of see it's sketched in more detail, but there's stormwater basins for managing the stormwater, and then there's also septic. So it's every site has their own utility hookup.
Is there gonna be a condition that they can only have that it can't be permanently occupied?
The camper or the trailer?
Yeah,
I assume so. I mean, it's not allowed by our zoning regulations to have it permanently occupied. And I can't imagine they would want to have, usually campgrounds have like a, season
Usually,
minimum or
but not
something.
always.
That's something I can write down as a question, because I can,
Yeah.
I'll be making comments as this assistant city planner, but then also, I'll have the opportunity to put together a memo for the Conservation Commission. And so those
That would be
questions.
one of, a major question is,
Mhm.
what are you
Yeah,
gonna
we were
do?
just talking about how often we've been to campgrounds where somebody's
Somebody just never left.
never left.
And can they store their trailer there? Because I've seen that up on, in other places where people have the trailers and then they store them when they're not in use.
Hmm.
Some of those suckers you don't want to go dragging around.
And at the very least, if my comments, if it doesn't make sense to go under that, I can tell Jeremy and he can, bring it up as planner comments as well. Since he'll be looking at parking and stuff like that, which will be more related to the parking of those trailers.
If we're regrading, what's the pitch of the grade?
They're not doing a whole lot of regrading. There's a
Right
grading
here.
plan. Oh, that's what this is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can see the grading in here.
That looks,
This is a steep,
that looks pretty damn steep.
this is the steepest pitch on the entire property right here. So they would be coming in at an angle here and obviously having to do some pretty significant grading. This is that second phase, and these are cabins. So they wanted to have the cabins close to the facilities so that people, if they're more like not camping enthusiasts
right. They
or don't have a
they can-
trailer.
They get to hang out and play their video games.
Exactly.
That opens up a whole different can of worms, so if it's cabins,
In what way? And
it's easier to stay,
right. I'm sure they're gonna have some, I would think for the cabins, they'd want to be moving people in and out of those.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But it's a good question to have, just like what are their KOA, I'm sure
Also,
has
sometimes
guide
the
like,
campgrounds, the
I don't
cabins
care
are
what
trailers.
yes.
no, I mean, like,
You know.
they usually, like, I've worked at a campground before and they
Yeah.
had like minimum stay, like, or maximum stays.
Yeah.
Where you have to they have to at least move to a different spot.
Yeah.
It'd be interesting to see, like, are they gonna allow, is it gonna be a season where they close in the winter?
I would, but you'd want to put a condition on it as part of the special exception.
Yeah.
And are the cabins like trailers or are they actually?
I don't know if they're
I
like
would be interested to know
modular,
whether
that they
they're-
lay them down on a fountain, but
Well,
they're
a lot of
not
times they
permanent.
have
I mean, they are
The
permanent
campgrounds will own
trailers.
their own set of, they'll own a section that's full of trailers and those are then rented to people who want to stay.
Mhm.
And will they allow storage of the trailers?
Yeah, I have that as a question. This is the second, mostly the second phase. Everything north of the circle is phase 2, and everything south, except for that, those cabins is phase 1.
Yeah, this is hard to tell at a scale. You've got some steep
It's,
grades here.
Right, and they're regrading a lot of that.
Do they have a landscaping plan?
They don't have a landscaping plan, which is gonna be something I was gonna comment on, because they graded, or they didn't grade, they cleared, but didn't stump that whole area on the grading plan, but there was no reserves. They didn't save a tree here,
and
a tree there.
My experience at KOA is they are deserts,
Right,
right? Like they're hot, like if it's a sunny day, it's a hellhole.
and I would have requested,
Yeah.
know,
some-
that they
some-
left
that they leave
some,
big
but they
trees.
already were granted the grading permit. So they, they're
Could be.
literally, the limits of clearing are marked. You heard that at the
Yeah,
meeting,
yeah.
except for the areas in the wetlands.
Yeah.
But,
I think they need a landscaping plan, especially like
Yeah.
you've got the big circle there. You've got the edges. You've got stuff, I don't know how visible it is, but
yeah.
I think they should provide shade.
And I comment
they
on
want it to be a nice-
landscaping. And I, request, and I'm also a huge stickler for native species. I
Uh-huh.
really
Yeah,
hammer people
absolutely.
on
That
that,
is-
so.
yeah.
Um,
I would make that suggestion that it's all native species in the landscaping plan.
but I don't know, yeah, I'm not sure what they don't have anything on
They should put
here.
a food forest for us.
Be good for them,
Yeah.
No, then the maintenance guys would have to clean up all the drops,
I
and they
know,
probably
it's all
hate
of
it.
them.
the bears.
All the-
Oh, the bears, right. They're very conscious of the bears, so that was a
Oh,
question that already came up,
Yeah.
was the
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah, I don't see anything that allows for
Yeah. But that doesn't,
dumpster.
They're
Doesn't
gonna have, I'll
every-
show you where the dumpster is gonna be.
doesn't every development need a landscaping plan though?
They're supposed to.
I think that the dumpster,
They should.
the dumpster is going somewhere here.
Okay. They don't, do they show that?
No,
Do you
but we
show
asked
dumpster
that, and that's
pad?
where they said the dumpsters is going.
That's the
And I
way they
was like,
say it is.
well,
If
it's true.
it's
Well,
not on
it's
the
part of,
plan,
it's part of the,
they need to put it on the plan. Because that's, but I would, I mean, unless they get, they need a landscape. Let's bid minimum.
mm,
So I have that on there, landscaping plan needed. I'll be asking for natives, and we'll, again, what they're gonna be required for landscaping usually focuses on parking and landscaping,
Yeah.
frontage and landscaping, and they don't have a lot of
Right.
that here,
No,
so,
but,
right.
but we're gonna request it.
Mhm.
Or what you can, or you just say they can, a buffer, you maintain a minimum buffer between that and the neighboring properties.
Right, sometimes, for certain uses, you have to buffer. This is in a residential district, so it's not like a
Yeah, but still.
local business,
Yeah,
but we can
this
ask.
is a
Special
business.
exception.
Right,
It's a
right.
special
Business,
exception. You can
yeah.
put a,
Can put
you
what you
can put a
want.
To be
buffer,
honest,
fire
there's
buffer.
not a lot of, there's no, to my knowledge, adjacent area that isn't buffered. You know what I'm saying?
But
Like,
yeah.
there's
But,
no-
but they could clear it if
They
they
clear
wanted.
it. No, they.
Oh,
yeah,
to
don't let them
leave a
clear it.
buffer, like just
They
like,
have to leave a buffer.
yeah.
Right.
A minimum buffer of, I don't know what a reasonable is, since we don't have a scale.
Well, we,
Minimum buffer. of-
the one we require for like local business adjacent to residential is 25 feet. That's in the regulations, but we can request more, like 100 feet.
Yeah, 100 feet. I mean, 100 feet is small.
And, and, no
Yeah,
clearing.
200.
I mean, you're talking about
250.
size of the property. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, other than that, I don't. They haven't.
Well, there's some existing houses on the corner of Clug Hill Road.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
that might be a glitch for the proximity.
It's still, I mean, the scale of this all, it's
It's
like,
big.
it's big,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, so there's
But-
plenty of buffer around the whole.
yeah,
Right.
technically they have it all, but we can request more.
No, you can make it a condition, so that, 10 years from now, when they go, oh, yeah, we want to put it, over there, or we decided to clear all those damn trees out of the way.
Mhm.
Well, I think they're trying to say, the trees are feature.
Yeah, but,
property there, So,
People do
That's what they're
weird
saying
stuff.
now.
yeah,
but
except where
Yeah.
you're parking.
That's what they're thinking now.
How many
I mean, I was
pads
sort
are
of,
talking
I
about?
was kind of excited that it was a campground, and then I was sort of disappointed it was a KOA, just from my experience with other KOAs, although,
But it's a local owner.
right.
It's a local
like
owner,
it's a
so, and they
franchise-
know.
It's a franchise type thing.
Exactly. They're just
Yeah.
basically getting them to, they get all their infrastructure and their marketing
Yeah,
stuff and
yeah.
the sign
Yeah,
and,
they get-
they can't, I will say, as just a note for, there are sign regulations don't, in this district, don't allow them to do like a ginormous
Oh, okay.
sign. Because it's the residential,
Yeah.
so they're allowed a 20-square-foot sign.
Oh, okay.
So it's
And
really
how high can it
modest,
be? How tall?
like 5 feet.
Oh, okay.
It's very
Alright.
small, but they,
Okay.
so what they're planning on doing is either doing a small sign like that and then having a huge interior sign once they
Mhm.
like come up around that,
Mhm.
that bend. Or they'll do like a canopy type sign and try to, that just says like KOA. It still has to be small,
Yeah.
but it'll at least be
they hang it
more,
from a canopy.
right, exactly.
How many pads are there gonna be for the ask for approval?
I haven't looked at that yet. There's probably a summary. I was hoping, anyway, that would be something I would ask for. Something like this.
Well, I have them numbered.
Okay.
We can just look at the,
The
find the
highest
highest
number,
number.
It should have information there.
I'm seeing
64,
86.
86.
Yeah, yeah. Looks
Yeah,
like
86.
86. So
That doesn't
not more than
include-
100
that
the
does not
cabins.
include The cabins.
Okay.
So 100 trailer spots and no tenting. I'm not sure if they allow tenting in
I
a
think
trailer
you can, I
spot.
think that you can tent. We've, I mean, I don't know what these people.
Right,
will,
that's what-
But
that
we've
was-
always
That's a
gotten
question
a
that I,
trailer, we've always
Yeah, I don't,
rented a trailer spot so that we had water and electricity.
yeah, but tents versus trailers, and tents are a lot less
Right, why would you?
intrusive. Yeah.
Right,
right.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
once you get the generators going on a hot summer day, this thing will be buzzing.
yeah.
Well, are they gonna have electricity?
Oh, yeah. Full hookups,
Full hookups?
water, electricity and sewer. So it's gonna
Oh,
be,
the sewer, because the sewer line's gonna be where?
it's not sewer, but
It's
it's,
septic.
it's
Oh, septic,
septic.
okay.
Yeah, so
That's
they
what I
have, like,
mean, but
a
they'll have full
hose. You have your
sanitary.
post, you can plug into the post, there's a hose there,
Mhm.
and then,
There'll
it's
be a
bigger
water
with a
hose.
I've never
hose, and
posed.
then you have I don't know how the trailers work, we never use the septic, but they always have like a thing you can unscrew from the ground and you put your, outlet.
And that was a comment that came from the city engineer about like making sure that the lines kind of cross all over the place. Just making sure that they're reinforced so that there's no cross
yeah,
contamination
water and
between
sewer lines
water and
cross.
sewer.
Mm-hmm.
So there's individual water and then there's storm water again, and there's 3 or 4 ponds or basins.
Did they have like the water plan? I don't remember seeing that.
They had a water, I didn't bring it with me, but they had a report, a full report.
So,
And that's what our engineer.
What was the
looking at.
report, but it wasn't.
It was just a report of just confirming that all the water could be handled by their. by the-
No, I
not
meant
the
like,
basins.
how the water lines run. Is there anything like that?
I think that's on the, here. It's on this rating. Yeah, see, there's the catch basins
But,
and they discharge.
yeah, but what are they, I mean, like the water hookup, like how are they running?
Oh,
Where's
the water.
Yeah, the water.
There's sanitary
Right,
and
I
then,
don't see water, like, what is this? What are these? And I don't even know what, oh no, I don't know what that is.
um,
Oh, it's my sanitary. Okay, so they're showing the way that whatever their sewer system lines go, but they don't show their water.
so one way we may be able to figure that out is their well. I'm trying to
They're
identify
gonna run
where
that
the
all in a well?
Yeah, but that approximate location of proposed well, yeah, so they got the Torrington area health approval for the well and the sanitary. But that's a question though, is how they're gonna provide that. Like, are they gonna have a tank too? Are they gonna store for like?
What are they doing? Let's find that out.
And I can kind of go through some of my comments as well, because this is Used to be my bread and butter at my last job. I was
I
so
can't-
excited to work on this.
Kind of amazing that, I guess it is big, but the septics can handle
There's a lot.
that.
There's a lot too, you know.
How close is the septic to the residents? Are there neighbors?
But this is all this, it's not, I mean, to these guys on the outside, it's, I mean, that seems pretty far away. This is the closest. Where's the septic for this stuff?
Which?
Well, I guess it all
There's,
goes here. This stuff all goes to this.
yeah, they show the sanitary connections. And
So wait a second, phase one? Can we look at that again, phase one and phase two?
phase one might actually have theirs.
It's like a first page, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that, well, this is,
Oh,
this is for these buildings.
yeah, so what is going on for phase one for their septic?
And there's a septic here too, but that's for,
All right, I'm confused. So if this is, can I just look at what it says phase two is?
Is the state confirmed that the plan?
what is that?
Is the state approved the septic?
Well, that would be Torrington Area Health.
They've approved septic
They've
and
approved
water.
septic and water.
Okay, so I'm confused. This is phase one.
Mhm.
Why is, well, I guess that they have to build that septic, right?
I
It
haven't,
just seems like it's part of phase two.
right, it's a good point though. So, right, so.
Right,
phase
so there
two-
should be phase one should have something here.
Something like that.
Right, right. So it's. They could update the plans
Yeah.
to at least do that.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Um, That's a good point. So some of my comments, it's actually a really unique location in the
Mhm.
context of the landscape. So the Housatonic Valley Association did an analysis of forest cores and their connection.
Mhm.
So this is at the, roughly the county scale. And you can see this parcel sits right here. And so they've identified this, while it's not large enough to be kind of like a core area, it's
Yeah.
not like this big broad forest area, as a critical linkage point between these large
those
forests down
two,
here that
okay.
go all the way down to Litchfield,
Yep,
with these that go up through to Goshen.
okay.
So when I look at the site and I think about that,
Meaning it's like it's a wildlife corridor.
exactly.
Okay,
So when I look at the site, I think, how is wildlife going to move through here with the development right
right
here?
there. Yeah,
And they're going to
come up.
come
yeah.
through this way and around and through, and then through here maybe too.
Yeah.
But so in my mind, when I look at this, I think having disturbance here would be preferable. You'd want to leave as much of this open as possible,
Yeah.
as broad of a corridor here to allow passage through.
Not open, but forested.
Right,
We want to leave
right.
it open to wildlife.
And,
traffic.
even if it was,
And that would probably.
even if
be
it had been
cool to them.
cleared, but they let kind of
Yeah.
naturalize again.
Yeah.
That would be my preference. So if
Well, let's put that in. 'cause I
if
think that's
they
important.
could like pull this back a little, or in my mind, if they would have this as just tent sites, even something to like minimize the light, the noise, the disturbance that's adjacent to this right here.
Mhm.
are they gonna have, that's a good question, are they gonna have lightning poles around?
Yeah,
They
I
usually
have
do.
that. I have like lighting should be recessive. I do look at that, and we would require, downward facing fixtures, but
Yeah.
can they create a lighting plan that minimizes? And I'm not sure that if they will have it or not. So that'll be a
Mhm.
question from me. There's no lighting shown on this.
There's no lighting, they have no,
They haven't shown it. So, and that happens sometimes. So I'll just ask for a photometric plan to go, unless they literally have nothing.
I think that that's a good suggestion of having these back ones possibly be tent sites. For the reason, and also.
It's nicer for the campers to be able to have a place that's away from the generators.
Mhm.
You know, it's closer to the kind of more natural part of the property, but
Why do they have generators?
well, you've been to a campground with generators. It's you know, I guess they don't need generators.
No,
They-
they have
No,
electricity.
no.
I'm
They're gonna
thinking of,
have,
you're totally right.
they're gonna have electrical outlets
Right.
at each one. of
Totally
those
right. They
spots.
won't. That's my fault. I was thinking of a campsite I worked at, campground that
Oh,
had
yeah.
no hookups like that.
Yeah.
So they won't have generators. That's true. But still, there'll be light, there'll be noise, there'll be
Oh, yeah.
more issues like
Yeah.
that.
Are they planning on putting any hiking trails on there?
That would be phased at a later. They don't have that in here. That's their plan, but it's not immediate. And I don't know if they would want to do like horse trails. They bought a lot of property, so.
I think it's a question to ask. and-
Especially in terms of the wildlife corridor.
And
Yeah.
also in terms of the neighbors.
Yeah.
Especially if they allow ATVs.
Right.
Yeah, do they allow ATVs? We don't know, okay.
Yeah, I'd be against it. Bad ATV experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's not the
Dirt
impression
bikes.
that I get, but it'd be great to hear them say that
Yeah,
if they.
exactly.
feel like
Makes
Have
us
it- have
think
it
that
on
as a
record.
Yeah,
condition.
I like
We
the
want
idea
that
of
on record.
trails and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
but just these behind through the
Dirt
woods stuff
bikes,
is,
bomb through, yeah.
and then snowmobiles, I don't know. it's just,
Oh, God, yeah, snowmobiles.
Can you pan out that picture again so I can see the so the green are fields or?
No, the green are large forested
Forests.
areas that have have like a kind of significant center part that certain bird species need kind of interior areas to breed. Certain animals like, you know, bears, or I mean, bears can go anywhere, but certain species like broad corridors to be able to move through. They have less invasive species because invasives
haven't
are
been
usually around the
disturbed.
edge.
Right.
They're just kind of
Humans-
higher
humans need
quality
space for
areas.
invasives.
And so in doing this kind of planning, you want to kind of connect those with kind of less quality areas, but if they're in critical locations, you know, and this is all wetland through here too. So it'd be nice to have not just wetland conserved and a little bit more buffer
Yeah.
for them to move,
Yeah,
rather than just having to slog
okay.
through that.
Why isn't that pathway in green then? It's just not dense enough?
There's enough, sorry.
Development around it. It's not
Yeah,
really enough
we have
conversation.
fields here, there's like some, you know, housing, it's the fragmentation, right? Things have just broken it up. There's a road here. This is just a farm road at this point, and there's
Yeah.
probably, this core is likely to really spread through all of this, but when they do these analyses, they usually these are like dividing lines. So it is
Yeah.
probably more connected than it's showing here, but still.
Yeah. That dirt road was the original Torrington Main Street.
Right, and Torrington abandoned it,
Yeah,
and now Butch Klug uses it to get to this
yeah,
backfield.
so there's old foundations there.
Yeah,
That was the original Main Street? Makes-
like up to
When
Goshen.
Torrington
West
was
Hill.
its own, the West Torrington was.
Oh, West Torrington.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
okay.
Yeah, so that was the place of earliest settlements.
The other thing that I wanted to note for them to know is that, well, I don't have to get into this, but down here, this is, is this Bessie Park here? I think so, yeah, right here. So down here, there's a record of wood turtles on Lovers Lane Brook through here. And Lovers Lane Brook goes all the way up and around and through the property. Right, this is the headwaters of Lovers Lane Brook. So they didn't find them, but they also weren't looking there. So there's a good possibility that there's a wood turtle population. Maybe there is, maybe there isn't up through here. But that would be something to consider. Their plans don't show them going anywhere near the stream, near the wetland or the stream there. But if they did do trails or something, or a bridge, it'd be like a huge consideration.
Okay, so do we
bring it
put
to their
that in our
attention.
comments? in
Yeah,
terms
I'll
of
include it as
just
a
that
memo
whole
and
thing that you
yeah.
just said?
Yeah.
and the-
and talk about that, because that's something that they should at least be aware of. And
Yeah.
if they're planning to do crossings, they'll at least know that.
Or also that they should get approvals.
And that we know.
Right, and that we have it on the record now, so
Right.
that in the future, that
Yes.
they look through
Right.
it, they'll see that, oh, this is an issue.
They'll build it.
Right. you can't really see it up there, right? So, the other two pieces I had is this used to be a part of the Torrington, of the watershed for the water company.
Okay,
When they came to get the application done, their SLR, their consultant was smart and checked in with Torrington Water Company, and the zoning was actually watershed protection for this
Right,
area.
right.
But they talked to Torrington Water Company and they actually decommissioned the reservoir that fed into for that.
Yeah.
So they rezoned it to R60 because,
Oh,
so they
okay.
took like 30 or 40 lots out of that zoning district. Which was clever on their part to get done, because that would have really hurt their project
Yeah.
doing it here. So anyway, it still
But it
feeds
is-
into a,
And that was when it was still like owned by Torrington Water
yeah,
Company.
yeah. So it is in that watershed. If they do reactivate that reservoir, it still would be an important watershed
Mhm.
lands for them. And then my last comment was just the management of their fields and meadows. Butch Klug is gonna be still farming this, possibly in here. But they'll be doing just kind of like maintenance of whatever they clear up in through here. So my recommendations would be ideally mowing around grassland breeding bird species that breed in these kind of large meadows. It hurts hay quality. So Jeremy says that he has refused to do it in the past. But at the very least, they could take down this old riding rink so that there's a much bigger, so grassland breeding birds need like large fields that are far from the edges
Mhm.
so that like foxes and stuff can't get at their
to their
nests.
nest.
So any kind of area where there's like overgrowth, foxes and raccoons creep into and steal out of the nests. So that'd be a good thing to remove if they are still haying this, which Butch looks like he's still doing. If they remove that, it could make this better quality habitat if they continue to hay it.
Mhm.
And then my other recommendation was just that areas that they do clear, that they do it for pollinators, they mow it less aggressively, less frequently,
Mhm.
enough to keep the view open, but maybe more wildflowers and not like a lawn in every
Mhm.
single area that's
Mhm.
cleared. Um,
Grass.
And those are my comments. That's
Okay.
what I had, but
Okay.
I have your whole list of
Good. Okay.
other comments. What I'll do is I'm going to be commenting as an assistant city planner on the things that I usually comment on. So I'll incorporate what I can into those. I'll
Yeah,
put the
'cause
rest,
some of our stuff is not really conservation.
I'll put the rest into, and I'll refer to Jeremy, anything that isn't within my purview to comment on, like the parking and parking trailers and other use. And then I'll put together a memo. Christine, if you want to sign that, maybe look it over, I'll circulate it to the group. You can all weigh in on it. And then maybe I
Yeah.
can get you to sign that with me
Yep.
and
When do you
just so
think
that
that
it's
will
all
be?
not all coming from me.
When will that be?
So they're going before P and Z December. I don't know when the next meeting is. It's sometime in the middle of December. I think it's like right before Christmas, like the
Okay.
21st or something like
Okay,
that. So
so when you
Is
have
that
the
the public
letter,
hearing?
yeah. So I want to have it in
when you
before
have it,
then.
yeah, you're
Yeah,
gonna
we
email
have
it to
to.
all of
Yeah.
us.
Yeah,
Right.
so I'll get that memo to you by the first week of
First full
December,
week of December, so sometime
and then
before
I'll
the
give you some
9th.
time.
Okay,
Because
And then I'll just
I have
stop
to get my
in.
comments to Jeremy.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
okay, let me write down that deadline.
The land trust
December
has some
9th.
property adjacent to this development.
Yeah, they bought all around the land trust property.
wow.
I think maybe one of the sides is owned by the Fish and Game,
Okay.
but I mean, that's the other huge property owner
Yeah,
here. I
makes your
wonder what's gonna
stomach
happen to
drop,
the
doesn't
fishing.
What?
Just, I don't know.
Makes me similar to thinking if the Fish and Game sold off all their land, because
Yeah.
that's like 1,000 acres, I think.
Yeah.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's huge back there.
Big property that's out there.
Yeah. Okay, first,
Just wonder what they have in store.
Yeah, there's some pieces back there that just, everybody sort of forgets about them, you know? it's-
okay,
Same, between, I think it's Stone Ridge, right? At the top of Red Mountain Avenue, Stone Ridge, there's
Oh, yeah.
Abeling Mountain.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like between there and Quagna,
it's a huge-
And Sunny-
Sunnybrook, Sunnybrook.
yeah,
So many really large parcels. They're big parcels. Like,
Yeah.
like who owns them? And
Yeah.
then there's hunting. Yeah, like, is it hunters? Like, it's like, who owns this up here? And
Yeah, they're all
they're
those big
They're
landowners.
just big properties,
Yeah.
yeah.
But they're also just,
They're leaving things alone, it's great.
yeah, but they're not, a lot of them, they're wet or there's
They're
rock.
Well,
rock.
I mean, you
There's
can't
rock,
do much
like,
because
there's
it's.
that much soil.
Right,
and
right, right, right,
bedrock.
right. Yeah, they have I mean, that's why there's never gonna be a really big development up there because
They couldn't get water out.
they
Oh, and they
can't-
can't run
do
sewer up
septic.
there.
Yeah, we
Sewer.
can't run sewer. It's past our line, but it, you know, you can't have a
Well, you-
septic really. You
Yeah,
can't
no.
really have a septic. You can't have a septic. But there's such great, while there's a heron rookery.
Yeah, there's enough money.
Well, I guess
If you
you
blast
can have
out.
a
for a-
septic, but the Glastonbury
Yeah.
company that bought that property at the Abling's old property, they, you know, they wanted to have 300 houses up there.
Right, and that failed because they
wanted
wouldn't,
300,000.
they
They
wouldn't,
wanted 300 houses up there.
they wouldn't run they wouldn't
Well, we
run
had gotten
sewer
the
up.
line of sewer like demarcated right before the application
Hmm.
to do that came in, so it just squashed it. Which, you know, I mean, there's a heron rookery up there, there's this beaver meadow and then another beaver pond. It's a really great.
That would have
property.
also
That-
changed when you're coming up Main Street, you see Red Mountain, like it's
Yeah.
like what's in your
Yeah.
view
Yes.
all the way down Main
Yeah,
Street.
it
If
would
there
have
was houses
trashed
all
the
over
ridge
there,
line. It would have
yeah.
totally trashed. I mean, that's like the whole character of Torrington
Yeah.
is the ridge lines that surround us.
Yeah.
Well, the East Main side is already.
Well, yeah,
It's
well, yeah.
that's the sacrifice.
Yeah. All right, so we're moving on from that to old business,
Mhm.
food forest planting on Mountain Road.
Did that happen?
Yeah, it happened.
I didn't hear about it, so I was hopeful that it
But you
happened.
know, and did it ever get in the paper? I talked extensively
I
with
didn't see any of the paper. I
with
wouldn't,
the-
probably
a
wouldn't. have.
reporter, and we had to get him photographs. He couldn't get there. He got lost. He went up to Massachusetts.
Oh, no, what?
Went to Massachusetts. Boy, was he lost.
He
that's-
was so lost.
Was it
Which
from
paper?
the?
Waterbury Republican.
Oh,
Yeah, we had a good number of people. We planted it.
Yeah,
I was really impressed with all
how many people do you have?
at least 15.
Really?
yeah,
Mhm.
there was. And there were,
I'll have
the
to go
guy
take a
who
look at it.
donated not just the plants, but he donated peat
Fencing,
moss,
Yeah.
he
Peat
done
moss,
fencing, stakes. Compost.
Anyone get any pictures from the event?
Michael, I got a couple. It's mostly of his child, but you can see stuff happening. Wait, hold on. Here's
It's an
one.
only child, what do you expect?
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't Michael's, it was the grandpa who was taking pictures,
Oh, yeah.
but we was
It's
like, the
grandpa's
reporter
too.
was like. "Do you
Hey,
have
a
any-"
kid
and there
next
was
to a tree,
woman-
that's a great
I was
shot.
trying to find, there was a woman who was taking pictures. I didn't know her name. All I could do was describe her, and I was trying to figure out who she was. Nobody could find her, because we were looking for photos for the reporter. So hold on, let me find
Yeah.
Mike.
But we had, yeah, I think it went well. It
Mhm.
started to drizzle, but it held off enough that we could get it done.
That's great. That's
So-
awesome. And did you end up putting him in against the
Yeah.
back line there
Yeah.
behind the? Oh, that's a nice picture.
Yeah, it is a nice picture.
Yeah. Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I'd
Yeah,
love to
send
see.
me pictures because I have to put together the conservation.
All right,
commission
where
report.
do I
Commission
send it
plan.
to?
Nate, my work email, so it'd be Nate.
Oh, no, put it on, hold on, cancel. So email, Gmail. Okay, so if I say Nate, it will come right up. Yep, there it is. Subject, food forest.
I'll have to definitely get up there and see it.
Mountain Road. This autocorrect is just gonna kill me. Just can't take it.
And you send it out, you go, no, it's not.
Well,
what
the thing
I-"
is, you know, you typed it in right. And I mean, even when
Yeah.
things are spelled properly, I was trying to say, go make food, and it kept saying good, make good, make good. And I kept going food, and it changed it right when I hit send, and good. I was like, stop. Makes me crazy.
Was there any lessons learned that you think we could take with us if we're gonna be doing other ones or?
I thought it was really smooth, actually. It
Yeah.
went pretty smoothly.
Yeah.
It just who donated the trees? I can't. I'm terrible with names. Brett
Yeah.
donated them?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Was he there?
He was not,
No.
Okay.
but he really gave us all of the supplies that we
Yeah.
needed.
He was like so responsive and going back and forth with
Everything
me
that we
prior to
needed
it.
was given to us.
Yeah.
In terms of what I would like to see, as we expand this program, is I was thinking about, I went and I looked at what was done by the permaculture group, same group at White's Woods today.
Right.
And it's big, it's a big blueberry. Most of it is a blueberry
Is that
patch.
the
and then
stuff
there's-
that's right when you come in on the
Yes,
left-hand side,
yes,
there's all these
exactly,
flags
yes,
or,
exactly.
okay, I was wondering what that was.
But the thing was, I'm looking at it and I'm like, these are hybrid blueberries.
Yeah.
Right? So it's not high bush blueberry. And I think that, maybe that will be fine and it won't, but the stuff that we put in, I really think should be native edibles that don't need a lot of exactly. Just for their longevity and their hardiness and everything else. And I was thinking, like, a lot of the stuff that's written about food forests is written about stuff in Washington, which is a completely different climate. There's people walking through these like densely packed orchards of apples and pears and peaches and stuff. And I'm not sure that like orchard plants are really the right way to go.
Well,
for
because there
New
was
England.
a peach, right? in
There's
there,
two
or it's
peaches, But the same thing, like in the food forest at that I don't know if it's defunct. The trees are still there.
Oh, up on
University Drive.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. It's like and they're
I saw the trees. I didn't see any fruit. I was trying to like.
one year I went and I saw
There's
some
fruit.
fruit, but
they
it's
might
not,
be picking it.
yeah, people could be picking it, but
Yeah.
like the peach trees look like they need some like you need an
Right.
arborist. So if we have this program, I can't imagine that we'd ever have an arborist that's maintaining it if it expands. Like I just think that we should be focusing on functional, edible, native landscapes, and then doing,
Yeah.
like, if we need a little plaque that says, this is this berry, it's edible, this is, here's a QR code to scan
Yeah.
to find some,
Right.
some ways to eat it or whatever.
It could also be good to have like some educational events from the
Exactly.
Conservation Commission
Yeah.
to the local neighborhood.
And I would love, and I had said this before, I was like, if we keep doing orchards, we're gonna run into issues with the dead fruit on the ground, like the rotting fruit on the ground, like if, for maintenance crews and stuff like that. Like, I would really like to see stuff in the to and from our public schools or on school property, on edges, like wooded edges or whatever, where there's an opportunity for people, kids who might be hungry to be able to just get some.
And we're hopeful that with
Food.
more and more development
Exactly.
along the greenways,
Yep.
if we could do
Oh,
stuff
yeah,
there.
greenways would be fantastic.
And when we
too.
have input, like for Waters Way, like the one
Yeah.
that went along the Electric River
Yeah.
there, like places like that where we can incorporate that into the site plan
Yeah.
and make it a condition, then they kind of have to maintain it as a part of their landscaping.
So I'd like to do some research into what,
What is water?
That was just
So,
one name for it, but it was maybe I'm thinking of the different development. I'm thinking Penrose, the one that just opened by off of Franklin,
Oh, okay.
like that one, like that's part of the greenway. They got them to build the trail behind there.
Waters Way is
that the one
Water
up-
Street, Church Street, development down with Hotchkiss Brothers Mill.
Right, that's another one that hasn't really come to anything yet.
but yeah, I think that maybe we should be, instead of hybrids, maybe we should be looking at high bush blueberries and like service berries and aronia berries and the stuff that's
Mhm.
more
Blackberries.
native. Yeah, blackberries or even black raspberries.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Stuff that's like really prolific, but native,
And a good point to that is that, so like a lot of this is we're depending on this guy who
right?
donated
Oh,
everything.
right,
But he had offered the blueberries,
yep.
the peaches and hazelnuts.
The
That's
hazelnut's
native.
like it was native?
Yeah.
It's the native hazelnut, not the English hazelnut?
Either beaked or American,
Okay,
but they were one
okay,
of the natives. But he had a bunch of other ones that were like weird, they gomi berries and these other ones. And he's like, they're not invasive, but I was like, no, like
Mhm,
we don't know what they're gonna be.
Right,
and people are gonna be weirded out by them
Yeah.
anyway.
Right.
So
Yeah.
if you just go all in and do all blueberries, I think you can't fail in a
You
lot of
could do, yeah, you
cases.
could do.
Because people
yeah.
know what blueberries
Yeah.
are. You can pick a bunch of them.
And do, I mean, do
simple.
the hybrids do as well? Like,
I bought 5 from him and put them in my, so I'll let you know how they go.
yeah, I mean, they did great
They're like
in an urban
4
area. They do great with sun, with really good sun. I mean, I had them on Red Mountain Avenue. I had the postage stamp size
And they're
yard.
like 4 foot,
And they
right?
were,
Or
yeah,
3
they
or 4
were,
feet?
they were 3 feet. They were
Okay.
3 feet and they were making a ton.
Okay.
I mean, I've also planted blueberries where they've done nothing, but you know, if you get the right spot and you have the right sun for a hybrid, they do great. But
Yeah.
high bush will do,
Better.
Will do.
Well, they'll do
yeah,
more.
but they're smaller and it's harder to pick and
Mhm.
people aren't gonna be as familiar with it. But yeah, blueberries probably a good one. I would just like to do some research on what some really good, functional, hardy, low maintenance
Mhm.
plants would be as we like get, and you know, hopefully more into the downtown area. Okay, the Betsy Park Forest Management Sidewalk update.
So I didn't update everyone on that, right? That was the last meeting where I went out on that site walk with the forester.
Yeah, it's okay, you did already. Yep,
I did
you're right.
already, so that's all right. So this is a special meeting, so I wanted
Yep.
to include everything
Yep.
I could. So no new updates there. I actually went up there the other day and didn't see any new activity. So
We
I think
also
we're-
already did the World Cleanup Day, Earth Day follow-up,
Mhm.
correct?
And I sent everyone those maps. That was the maps that we had in our file. So it may not be what you were looking for, but that's all I could find.
Okay, open space parcel inventory and data collection progress.
Yeah, so I
So tell me, what's Rock Creek? You did Rock Creek Road?
I
and
did
Pepper
Rock Creek
Okay.
Road and Pepper Road
Okay.
with my new intern.
Okay.
You know, Rock Creek Road is one of those subdivisions where there's just a little bit of conservation land. It's all wetlands. It kind of was, there's a lot of ownership. So there's a lot of like lawn encroachments
Yeah.
and all that kind of stuff. Nothing particularly interesting there. Wasn't as bad as it could have been, but I got some good, there was one shed that was on the property and one car parked on the property. So I'll be sending follow-up violation notices to
Okay.
those folks. And then Pepper Road was really a beautiful property off of Torringford Street,
Mhm.
kind of in those subdivisions there. It's a big wetland area that was left set aside. A great candidate for trails if you're ever going to do something local for people like there, but there is a giant squatter's cabin.
Jeez.
Here, I'll show it to you.
Oh, I
It's,
actually love stuff like that.
it's not, I don't think there's anyone in it. I was like, is this a kid or like a kid doing this?
So I looked at all of those properties. I mean, I don't remember all the individual ones. I don't remember
Whereabouts
which
is
were
this?
with off of Torringford.
Cinnamon grit.
So this isn't a great shot, but you kind of get most of it. That's the two-story squatter shack. And some, yeah. So I'm like, is this kids doing this?
I
Yeah.
want to know, so we went to some place off.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
Lord.
We went to some place off.
I opened that
Torringford.
door. I was like, yeah.
We went to some place off Torringford and there was a paint, it was another, like a
No, that looks like
beautiful
somebody permanent.
piece of property.
Yeah.
And it had been made into a paintball
Oh.
course by the local kids. Like any trash that they could find was
With like a
refrigerator
block.
doors
Yeah.
and like just, and they had constructed little bridges over, it was like a kid's kind of wonderland sort of
Right.
thing, but it was like all trash.
Right.
So it's-
I would think kids probably, it didn't look like there was any signs of habitation. Like there was no cooking stuff, there was no trash, no sleeping bags, or, it didn't look like an encampment or anything like that. There was a bunch of
Okay.
trails that went to a single landowner's house. And there was
Oh,
wood,
interesting.
there was kind of some small bit of wood cut and stacked. He was trying to build crossings over the little stream
Oh.
and hunting,
Okay.
Platforms.
hunting platforms
Yeah.
with sight lines cleared. So that's another thing on my list to send a notice to those people to like, this is, but it kind of brings up a point that I was thinking with all of these is that they're not marked well.
Mhm.
No one even knows that
Right,
they're
no one
owned
knows
by
that
the
they-
city.
yeah,
There's
exactly.
just no boundary posting.
Yep.
There's no like placard or anything saying it's the city of Torrington. We don't
That's a
have
pretty good-
surveys.
Right, it's a pretty good project.
So it would, my pie in the sky thing is to approach an engineering school, and say, can you like, is there a way to have like a volunteer survey or something
Yeah.
like for students
And
to
then,
just do?
You know,
Right,
little
or even
placards
just
on the
mark, I mean, it'd be
trees.
great to
Yeah.
get a survey.
Yeah.
It's kind of
yeah, yeah.
expensive,
But
but
there's some applications to get. One is like a hunting one that tells you the borders and who owns each property. On X hunt.
but it's really about like marking it in the
Right.
field and getting it precise. That's the, like
Right.
finding the
But
pins.
this is very precise. Our street department uses it.
I would
so-
think
Okay.
that there has to be old surveys. I
Yeah.
mean, there has to be
There's
surveys
the
that have been
subdivi- there's the
done because of
subdivision survey.
subdivision.
Sure there is.
Right?
There's gotta be.
You'd be surprised at how old some of these subdivision surveys
No.
are, and well, you wouldn't be, but they're old and they're not particularly helpful, or there's none of the monumentation is shown. Like it's
Oh,
it's like they're lines, and the subdivision is from like the early 1900s, but it's not.
Oh, those.
There's a lot of those.
Yeah, I've seen those.
So that's the ones I'm talking about. This one actually is
Oak tree on the left.
right. Yeah, the dead chestnut that wasn't dead then. So anyway, that's just my 2 cents on that. But yeah, working away through those properties kind of as they come up opportunistically.
So right now, is that the strategy that you're using is you just have the intern do a couple each?
I had these
Awesome.
2 set for the year for me.
Okay.
On top of we did Manchuga too.
Yeah,
So I just did 3 this
Yeah,
year.
okay.
But then sometimes I'll get called out because there'll be someone calls about a property or whatever, and I'll go out there and check it out. So it's kind of opportunistic on some of the small ones. If I can get out there and just fill out a data sheet while I'm there, I'll do
Got it.
that. But
Okay.
there's not a lot.
because
of
I
that.
don't, I don't mind, having a schedule for maybe a pair or 2 or 3 of the commission members to go out and do
Yeah, I'd,
them as well.
yeah, I think, I mean, there's still plenty to go.
Yeah,
So,
no, there's a lot. Yep. Are we done for the year?
yeah,
And
yeah,
starting out, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
Unless something, like I said,
I mean,
comes
it's
up
so much
opportunistic,
easier. It's easier when there's no foliage.
right? And if something does come up opportunistically, I can circulate it to the group.
Okay.
And then that way, if you all can do it, then I'd love to have you there to look at it, even if I'm there for another
Yeah,
reason.
I mean, I'd like to I don't mind doing, I think that now is a really good time, just because,
The leaves are off.
yeah, there's
and,
no foliage. It makes it so much easier to see and the ground is hard.
Well, hunters are out there, though, so
Mhm.
be careful.
Yeah, but that'll be
But then,
stopping
like,
soon.
early-
Send your intern.
Not
You
with the
wear-
brown
In this
jacket.
white-tailed deer
Wear
suit.
Orange suit, but, yeah, I mean, I kind of like winter or early winter, late fall, early winter, early spring. It's like
Yeah.
a good time, but early spring is wet.
Mhm.
This is not a
And
bad
they're wet
time- Not a
spots.
bad time to do it, yeah. Okay. Communications, social media and website.
Standing item, I don't, all I have to
Okay.
report is that I put, our GIS person made a Conservation Commission logo
Oh,
for
okay.
something, he just did it. So I threw that on the website. So if you're
Okay,
interested to see
okay.
the stand-in Conservation Commission logo, it's there.
Okay.
If you want to develop one, go for it. I'll put it up.
Yeah.
The last thing I'll say with that, to kind of loop that in, is we have our December meeting. Jeremy says in the past that we've canceled that
Yes,
meeting.
Usually,
I am okay with canceling it if you all want to cancel it, and we can just meet again in
Do we need
January.
a follow-up to our special meeting after all the questions? Are they
Yeah.
looking to push that along though?
it's a letter.
It,
right?
it'll be a memo
Yeah,
that'll be read into the record.
Oh, okay.
So,
We're off.
Yeah,
so
so-
if we can get it internally, and I'll get it circulated to everyone by
the 9th.
the 9th.
Yeah.
That would,
And
is
then I
that what
can come in
that's,
the following week and sign, or I could come in on the 9th if everyone approves on the 9th.
great, that's all I had.
All right, so last thing is adjournment.
So moved.
Second,
Second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Okay. At 8 o'clock, that wasn't bad. It was a lot of stuff.
Well, sorry you all had to wait. My apologies for not reminding you, but I think that was a good meeting.
Well, you had to work until 5, right?
But
Is that why it was later? Because you needed a break?
Yeah.
Like
No.
Thursdays, you get to go home early.
no,
don't you?
Thursday I never go home.
Oh, really?
Because I
Oh,
have
you
to work
just
till
stay.
6:30, so why would I go home
Oh,
till
I see.
7?
Yeah.
But like normally I go home for a couple hours,
Okay.
put the kid, wash the kid.
It's a slow bike ride. huh?
Yeah, definitely slow.
Okay.
The Santa ride. So I take it.
All right, well, I won't see you all, so have a happy
Yeah.
Christmas and
Okay.
Thanksgiving, and I'll circulate the memo though,
Okay,
okay?
great.
Yeah,
Thanks.
thank
Take care.
you.